Hey soul family, welcome back to the channel. This is the White Feather Tarot, and in today's reading we are doing what small change can you make now that will have a huge effect on your situation. And to do this reading we are going to be picking 3 piles together, 1, 2 and 3. Let's see what they are. So for pile number 1, we have the Horned God. For pile number 2, we have Bell. And for pile number 3, we have Sword. If you like to pick with crystals, let me add these right now. There we go. So for pile number 1, we have the yellow Aventurine. For pile number 2, we have the white Howlite. This is what it looks like. For pile number 3, we have the red Jasper. And this is what your crystal looks like. So take a look at which one of these 3 piles you're the most, or 3 crystals of course, you're the most drawn to, and that is probably the pile for you here today. But as I always say, if you feel drawn to several piles or maybe even all of the piles, trust your intuition, because your intuition is the magic. It is what leads you to the right readings, I would say every time, or most of the time, as you make this muscle stronger. So yeah, take a look what it is calling for you to have a look at, because if it's calling for several, then maybe there's a bigger message that would really help you out in your situation. And if it's just one, it's one. If it's several, it's several. So let it guide you and lead the way. And as usual, you'll find the timestamps down in the description box. Click on your times and I'll see you in your readings. Hey soul family, welcome to the shuffling and the card picking process. It is lovely having you around. So thank you for being here. I love have your energies around as we prepare for your piles. Okay, so before we begin, let me quickly introduce the cards to you. On the left are the oracle cards, and on the right are the tarot decks that we will be using. All right, so let's get straight into your, I was gonna say your reading, but no, your pile preparation. And we want to know, what small change can you make now that will have a huge effect on your situation? Thank you. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. Next oracle deck. Yeah, that's the right way up. So, what small change can you make now? This one, these two, this one, that will have a huge effect on your situation. What small change can you do now that will have a huge effect on your situation. Thank you very much. Okay. We have your oracle cards ready. We'll be taking 2 cards from each of the tarot decks, except this one. We're just going to be taking 1. I see this one. What small... Oh, okay. Change can you do now that will have a huge effect on your situation? Thank you. So we are done with this one. Now let's pick up the rest of your tarot decks, and we'll be taking 2 cards from each deck. So what small... Oh, thanks. Are these 2? No, it's just 1. What small change can you make now that will have a huge effect on your situation? There we go. Okay. What small change can you do now that will have a huge effect on your situation? There we go. And this one. What small change can you do now that will have a huge effect? Oh, okay, seems like this one is important. On your situation. This one, okay. What small change can you do now that will have a huge effect on your situation? There we go. So our 3 piles are now ready. Let's put them neatly together. So let's pick pile number 1. There we go. With the yellow Aventurine. Pile number 2. With the white Howlite, and pile number 3 with the red Jasper. There we go. So your 3 piles are ready for today's reading. Thank you for tuning in and spending your precious time with me. It will always be something that I love and appreciate. Thank you for being around. Do know that I love you very much, appreciate you, and feel very blessed for your energy and for sharing it with me. Thank you, and let's get into your reading. Hi, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the yellow Aventurine as well as the horned god with life force. I wanted to say when I saw that, but I kept it to the reading. I'm wondering, have you been seeing the number 3 a lot? This could be hinting towards this reading, by the way. Okay, so we see the horned god holding a serpent on one hand and a door knob or handle in another. But to be quite frank with you, I kind of see it as a symbol of good luck, a horseshoe, even though it's not. So we also have the day and night. I'm seeing a lot of things already. The horned god is, of course, a very strong deity, but really depending on what your reading is about to show us, I'll take the things that I've noticed into consideration, and we'll see how that is integrating with your reading. On what small change can you do now that will have a huge effect on your situation. So you have Libra, and this is, of course, harmony, fairness, consideration, balance. You have the otter, is in this sweet energy, lovely. The otter and the horned god. Talk about balance, right? Between the two. We've been seeing balancing two things out. The snake and the luck. The strength and the otter with love. We'll get more information, I'm sure, as we uncover your cards. So you have Jupiter in Sagittarius with principle. You have the Ace of Cups. The Knight of Wands. The Moon. We've just had the harvest moon in Pisces. Perhaps this has a strong, or is having a strong significance on you in one way or the other. We'll find out in your reading. You have, the Muse of Emotions, which is the King of Cups. You have the Four of Cups with turning in. Let's keep it right there. You have the Knight of Pentacles with slowing down. Oh my God, look at that. Talk about balance. Knight of Wands is the fastest knight in the deck in conjunction to the Knight of Pentacles, which is the slowest knight in the deck. Definitely a lot of balance energy here. You have the Chariot. It's really funny. Okay, you have the Hierophant. Okay, and you have the Five of Swords. Hi, pile number 1. So I did half your reading and then I realized the camera cut off charge and I had to charge it and do it again. It's okay. Everything is done for a reason. So let's go back to the main idea here. What I was saying was, I've noticed that your reading framed Haryonago here, your Five of Swords. And Haryonago is a Japanese spirit of mischief and mayhem. And, you know, the reason she does the evil things that she does is for the sake of her pleasure to watch people's confusion, or specifically men, as I'll explain now, to confuse them and to see their pain, right? So here's this thing. She's a ghoul with a deceptively beautiful face. She's a demon who's immortal, and what she does is she uses her look and her enticing beautiful hair to lure the trespassers. She laughs with the young men that are passing by in the middle of the night. She smiles at them, she winks at them, she tries to engage with them, inviting them with her eyes. And so if they dare to laugh back, she loosens and unleashes her hair and attacks them with it. And you'll notice that with her hair here, do you see? At the ends of her beautiful hair, it's tipped with laser sharp hooks. So this is clearly telling me that you're dealing with, like, the whole issue here is that you're dealing with a very toxic person, especially that it's presented in the Five of Swords. Someone is giving you a hard time for the sake of it, for their pleasure. And they're really giving you a hard time with it. So that person that you're dealing with, whether this is a person that you live with at home, it seems like you're stuck with this person, whether at work or at home or in some situation that you have to be in. We see that your reading is advising you to do something very specific here. It's that one small thing that we asked for that will have a huge effect on the situation. Do you notice from the very beginning, we saw the Knight of Wands in conjunction with the Knight of Pentacles, and we're like, what? How is this fast energy with this small moving energy? And here we see that you're being advised to not engage much with this person. And if you're going to lose a lot by constantly avoiding them, at least use your discernment as much as you can and as much as necessary to release yourself from the situation most of the time. And you're being advised to not do it with aggression at all, and to not deal with this person with aggression. And so here the balance is, and that's what we notice from the very beginning, the snake and the door handle, or the good luck, the strength and the otter, to deal with this person respectfully, maybe even gracefully, but at the same time to be very stern and solid about the boundaries that you put with them. Try to extract yourself as much as possible with the Four of Cups as turning in. The more you remove yourself from the situation, maybe excuse yourself because you have to work, excuse yourself because you have to sleep, come up with things that you have to do. And the more you take yourself slowly out of this situation, the more you put yourself in a very favorable position with the Hierophant here. You raise yourself. You become unreachable for this person. And the more you do it gracefully, the more they're confused now. Because as you do it gracefully, they feel like their trials and their tribulations are not working. With the King of Cups here, it's like you're in authority, but you're dealing with grace and maybe even love. So they're not getting the reaction that they want, as Harionago here shows us. And at the same time, they're not getting hate from you either. And so with the moon, this is showing kind of mystery and confusion. They're not able to attack because you're not responding to their attacks, and at the same time, they're not able to fight because you're not responding to the fights and you're being very graceful. All in all, you're not even showing up, or at least you're not available most of the time. And we see here that slowly but surely, your situation will improve with this person, with this little action that you do. It's not about making strategies and thinking of comebacks and tiring yourself with them. It's just not giving them the reaction that they want. Don't feel triggered. Don't get angry. Do know that they want this reaction from you. Do know that this is what they strive for. And you doing things gracefully, even when they react aggressively, will make them understand fully that they're not able to grasp you. They're not able to pin you down, and they're not able to get the usual reaction that makes them strive. Putting you in a strong position and making them feel that they're powerless with you. They can't fight because you're not reacting to the fights. You're in fact dealing with them gracefully. And so slowly but surely, you'll see with the Chariot that you're going against the grain, going against, because we have the salmon here, going against a difficult situation very smoothly. You're sailing this situation, being in control of it very smoothly without much effort really at all. In fact, you're mostly in peace because you're keeping that balance and you're keeping yourself unavailable most of the time. Pile number 1. I also see, by the way, pile number 1, with the harvest moon that showed up here in Pisces that we've just had recently. We see that during that time, you're actually slowly being released from the influence of this person. So you will notice that by time, you're detaching yourself from their toxicity. This situation will actually be resolving quite on its own. The more they believe and realize they don't have influence and power over you, the more that they feel like you don't have this chip on your shoulder. They won't be able to target you because they feel like you have released yourself from them. And that makes them absolutely powerless, as we've explained. Pile number 1. In fact, now we see the horned god. I see the horned god depicted on your card as being naked, which shows that tuning in and not reacting makes them feel vulnerable. It makes their so-called power feel exposed, because it's not really power after all. It's just some tactics that they have that are no longer working. So what are they going to do about it now? And with that, your situation comes to balance and harmony. They no longer ever have control over you again. All right, so now that we saw the small change, how about we pull your cards and get advice from Spirit on what actions, oh no, not what actions, I meant to say what mental state should you adopt to have this tuning in nonchalant energy as you deal with them. Pile number 1. So what mindset should pile number 1 have, please? Okay, so Ace of Pentacles, 8 of Swords, the Sun, and the 9 of Wands. Quite interesting. we see here with the Ace of Pentacles 1, and we can connect it to the Eight of Swords with everything being stuck and stopped in its place, except for this person's vision. And that means to focus, especially with the Sun here, to focus on one thing when you're dealing with them. And as we've learned, that they want a reaction from you. Completely focus on that idea alone. Yes, makes sense. As you deal with them, as they say things to trigger you, to maybe belittle you, to make fun of you, whatever it is that they try to do, to laugh, as Haryunago does. The one thing you should be focusing on is that they are trying to get a reaction out of you. Don't give it to them, because when you don't, you disempower them, and you become the stronger one in the situation. So remind yourself that this is someone who's not stable, that this is someone who is only capable of feeling powerful by triggering you. Otherwise, they feel vulnerable. And by knowing that one thought fully and focusing on nothing else as you deal with them, you regain back your strength and your confidence, and you become the powerful one in this situation. And not only that, pile number 1, there's another very strong benefit that comes out of that with the Sun card. Healing. You see, the more you watch yourself become stronger by not being triggered, by focusing on what's actually right. This is the right idea. This is the whole situation. And you watch yourself building this strength and building this confidence. You heal fully from this situation. And you gain power, not just with this person, but with any other person that you deal with in your life that has these sort of toxic traits. You've now realized and understood them inside out. You know how they function, how they deal, what they're trying to do, thanks to our information here with Haryunago. Always remind yourself as you're dealing with toxic people, all they want is a reaction from you. Stay calm and stable and still, and don't give it to them, pile number 1. You'll find strength, you'll find healing, and most importantly, you'll be on top and in control of the situation. No need for aggression, all done in civility and grace, but by standing in one's place, knowing that they just want a reaction from you. And this is exactly what I see in your reading, pile number 1. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up. And also, if you enjoy Zodiac Tarot readings, make sure you check my other channel out. You'll find a link to it first thing in the description box. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel as well, so that you never miss a reading that I upload. And please don't forget to check out my productivity book, pile number 1. This book is small, straight to the point, and so you won't procrastinate or waste time reading it. But you'll find that it has all the key advice and secrets to becoming a productive person right away, all while enjoying the process. And so if you're interested in that, you'll find a link to this ebook down in the description box. And now there's also an audiobook if you love and enjoy audiobooks like me. And pile number 1, that was your reading. Wishing you the best from my heart with this situation. I know that this is in no time. You're taking yourself out of this. You're making these small changes and you're getting your big effect and your freedom from it, my dear pal number 1. That was your reading. Wishing you the best, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the beautiful white Howlite, as well as the bell card with awakening. So let's see, pile number 2, how this fits into your reading. And oh, I'm noticing your element first of all. Air, and with bell, this is throat chakra. Let's take a look at the rest of your cards. Pile number 2, and see exactly what small change can you do now that will have a huge effect in your situation. So you have Virgo. We see integrity, reverence, and service, of course. Analysis. You have Owl. Okay. That's why you have air. You have Mercury in Libra with influence. All right. And you have Durga, which is the 7 of Wands. So let's take a look at the rest of your tarot cards. Pile number 2. You have the Hanged Man. The 7 of Swords. The Judgment card with Awakening. The Muse of Voices, which is the King of Swords. You have the 5 of Wands with Totality. The 6 of Swords with Burden. Can we keep that here? Yes, we can. And then you have the Queen of Cups and the 7 of Cups. Interesting. Interesting cards. So what are we seeing? We see here, pile number 2, that you are in an uncomfortable situation because of something that's not right, unfair. Someone's taking something from you that is not theirs, or maybe persuading you to do something that is not their right to ask you for it, or maybe not doing their jobs, and so you have to handle a lot of the responsibilities. And we really see in your situation that you're maybe overworked, really burdened by, as a consequence of what is going on here. And so we see your spirit guides telling you to think about this rationally, because the more you carry, the more you won't be able to do what's important to you in the first place. And so we see that it's really taking a toll on you, and that's why there needs to be a pause to think about this. Because with Virgo we see service, having integrity. You must be someone who has high value in serving others. You're a very respectful person, and so at the moment you may have taken on more than you can handle, more demands than you can really do, and you're not able to go through these challenges any longer. You're not able to connect anymore. And so your spirit guides are telling you it's not a matter of figuring out how to pull it off. It is really a matter of stopping and thinking of other smart ways to do this. With the Awakening card, it's about opening up your eyes to the idea that maybe it's time to speak up about it, even though it may be really difficult to do. But we see that special situations call for special measures. There's a quote like that. Special times call for special measures, I think. And so this time, you are being invited to think about using your throat chakra to stop the situation. And that's why you have Durga in your reading. And Durga is a Hindu fierce mother goddess who is very strong. In fact, she only incarnates, and that's why I'm saying use your voice when you really need to. Sometimes you really need to use your voice and stand up for yourself, even though it may be difficult or even though it's not really easy. And so Durga incarnates herself into the earth to fight demons that have become too powerful and threaten the continuation of humanity and gods. And so all the gods invoke her into manifestation through offering their combined powers. And Durga comes around, comes up, and with her fierceness and power, she defeats the demons. And then she disappears. And so this way, she ensures that righteousness and compassion will continue to exist. And for you to continue doing what is important for you, and even in serving others, there must be a stop here. There must be some speaking up. It requires way less energy than going through the whole thing and figuring it out and trying to adapt and trying to figure things out. It might not be easy, but it's one time, 10 minutes talk and it's done. So an example of that could be your neighbor making so much noise that you have to buy some earplugs, close the windows really well, trying to play some meditation so that you forget about the noise, but then waking up feeling very tired, you feel like you haven't rested properly, and then you have to go to work and you really feel burdened with the situation. And instead of figuring things out and feeling tired every day, it's really just a matter of knocking on their door, telling them kindly but fiercely, there's a lot of noise that happens every day, and it's really preventing me to sleep, and I really cannot handle it much longer. I would love for you to enjoy your time, but at the same time, you must think of your neighbors as well, and be ready to perhaps call the police or the committee in charge of the place, of the unit or the building, to tell them that this is not going to work out. I'm not able to sleep this way. Or an example, a colleague throwing work on you. You really don't want to hurt them. You don't want them to lose their job. Maybe you have a good relationship with them. And so you take on the work, and by time you're really burdened and tired because you want things to go right. You care about maybe your department. You care about your colleagues, and you're overworked at this point. So now, instead of figuring out more time of staying at work and working, being overworked at home as well, trying to finish all of these tasks, that's unfair. The direction is not about how to handle this amount of work, but maybe it's time to speak up and tell your colleague, listen, I would love to help out, but I have so much to do. I'm overworked and I will not be able to do this for you. I think I will have to leave you with it, and you will have to do it. You have to be firm with Durga here. Very firm, even if they don't like it at first. You have to be firm in passing on what is not yours, speaking about it 5 to 10 minutes, and that's that. And freeing and liberating yourself from all of that burden. You'll find with the Muse of Voices, that's why it's represented as voices here, that you find your authority by speaking up about it. And you will find with the Queen of Cups that you will find relief. Instead of thinking of all the different ways you can fix this, you will find relief. And you'll be surprised at how your situation betters and how you liberate yourself completely by simply speaking about something firmly once and for all. Pile number 2. So now that we know the situation exactly, let's pull out your tarot cards and get advice on how to word it exactly, right? So can we kindly get advice, please, on how pile number 2 can word their speech, please. Ace of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Four of Swords, right, Seven of Wands, which is referring to Durga here again. Page of Wands as the Page of Inspiration. Hanged Muse or the Hanged Man. And last but not least, you have the Five of Wands. My God, your cards are repeating itself in a lot of ways. Okay. So, what are we seeing here? Let's see how to word what you want to say. So, with the Knight of Pentacles, we see first with the horse courage, but at the same time taking it slow with that person. So the initiation doesn't start with an attack, but it starts off first by showing your point of view with the Four of Swords, calmly, and how it is affecting you. So that's the first thing that we're seeing here. Making it clear how you're being affected by this, why it's important for you to talk about it, and calmly and in an organized way, building up to why you're going to suggest what you're suggesting. And so we see with the Seven of Wands, which relates to Durga, when it's now time to speak about your new suggestion or what should be done, at this point, this should be voiced with strength and confidence, right? To do it with strength, and to speak your mind creatively about what perhaps they can do. So it's not a matter of just throwing it in their court, but spend time perhaps showing how they can change the situation, how it could be a win-win situation. But you see with the Five of Wands, whatever you do, as you help them, that does not mean that you're deflecting back that situation onto you because you're being understanding. Five of Wands shows that whatever happens during this conversation, that you should always, like a mirror, reflect back anything that is being solved through you, that's definitely closed. But at the same time, you're willing to help them as much as you can. Help themselves, change it for themselves. So you're taking that difficult situation from you and giving it to them, making them think how they are going to solve it and not you. Would you, with the Page of Inspiration, suggest ideas? Yeah, you can. But if you have any, if you don't apologize and say, I would have loved to help, but I myself am in a very tricky situation at the point at this time and cannot really do much about it. Perhaps later on, if I can, maybe I would, but I don't think I can now or for a while because I'm overworked. I'm not capable of doing that. Stay firm in your no, pile number 2. And that's exactly what we see as your advice in your situation, and what small change you can do to release that burden off of your life and to have a huge effect in your situation. That was your reading, pile number 2. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. And if you enjoy Zodiac Tarot readings, make sure you check my other channel out. You'll find it as the first link in the description box. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. And please don't forget to check out my productivity book, pile number 2. This book is small, straight to the point, and so you won't procrastinate or waste time reading it. But you'll find that it has all the key advice and secrets to becoming a productive person straight away, all while enjoying this process. And so, if you're interested in checking it out, you'll find a link to this ebook down in the description box. And now there's also an audiobook if you love and enjoy audiobooks like me. And that was your reading. Thank you for tuning in, pile number 2. Wishing you the best of luck. And I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen the beautiful red Jasper as well as the card Sword. So let's see how this fits into your reading. And we're doing what small change can you do or make that will have a huge effect on your situation. All right, so we'll be taking a look at your oracle cards first. You have the 6th house. Can you see that? No, there we go. So you have the 6th house with establishing a foundation. It's about health, daily life, and practical details. Quite interesting. Goes along with the sword here with the divine masculine energy. But let's see. We'll keep that here. You also have the beaver. Now that makes a lot of sense. You have Jupiter in Virgo with patience. All right, and let's take a look at your tarot cards. So you have the Hag of Air, which is of course represented by Dhumavati, but I can't remember. I think the Hag was the King of Swords in this deck. Let me check. Yes, Hag is the king. All right, so let's take a look at the rest of your tarot cards. You have the 6 of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles. You have, my God, the kings that appeared from this deck in the 3 readings. So you have the Muse of Inspiration, which is the King of Wands. So far, we've had the King of Voices, we've had the King of Cups, and now we have the King of Wands. You have the Lover's card. Your reading makes absolute sense. You have the Moon card with past lives, which I'm seeing here as past experiences. You have the Strength card with courage. Can we put it right here? No, let's keep it here. You have the Hermit. And last but not least, you have the King of Cups. Oh, sorry. So can we place the King of Cups down there? Would you see that? Yes, I think you would. Yeah. Interesting setup. Let's see what this is telling us overall. So it's really interesting, especially the synchronicities in your reading. So do you see here Dhumavati sprinkling some seeds onto the fertile ground? And then you have with the Six of Pentacles, this chicken mother is sprinkling some corn onto the her little chicks. So do you see the idea of sprinkling something, small things like seeds or corn, and then we see the flower growing here. So what we're seeing in your reading from the very beginning with the divine masculine energy is you building something, establishing a foundation, or building something that's speaking to your heart. Do you see that? Something that you want. But I feel like here you may be really intimidated by the amount of work that has to go with it. And with the past lives here in the moon card, it shows that unconsciously you may feel burdened to begin because of maybe past failures or starting it and not finishing it. But we see your reading telling you to do it with love, with a completely different way this time. Remember, the reading is what small changes can you do that will have a huge effect on your situation. And so here, what is your reading telling you? It's like the seeds and the corn. It's telling you to take tiny steps every day so that it's not intimidating anymore. This way, you'll find your motivation with the King of Wands. So it's not about doing big things every day because you want it to finish quickly. Instead, with time here, we see that your reading is saying change your perspective. And instead of doing big things that you may not be able to keep up with, do smaller things that you're able to finish up and be free. And this way, you're able to create that dream that you want. You're able to make it come true despite the fact that you may feel that it's very hard to manifest with the wall here. Small little actions will create huge results. And we see your flower growing or something blossoming from a wall or a barrier that otherwise was thought to be impossible to do. And this is the beaver archetype. It's really unbelievable. The beaver archetype is all about being loyal, working hard and consistently towards something, tirelessly. So the change, the way you may love it here, to be able to put that divine masculine energy of sticking to it, is to do small tasks and to be patient rather than to do big tasks and let go of it altogether. Pile number 3. Now, let's take a look at what we see here with the Hermit card and the King of Cups. I feel like that you have two main key advice on how to contain what we've just seen here. So with the Hermit card, in terms of what we're seeing here, it means that while you work on that, since it's a small little task that you have to do every day to move towards it, since it's a small one and you're taking the strategy of doing small little things until they add up, make sure you isolate yourself and you don't have any distractions as you complete this task. Since it's a small one, make sure that you're only focused solely on that task as you accomplish it. And with the King of Cups, do you see, I always feel like it's some sort of microphone or maybe ice cream. That's the way I see it. And this reminds me of a great productivity tip that we're seeing here. And that's associating something that you love with something that you may not really enjoy in order to look forward to the thing that you're enjoying. So for example, let's say this is about exercise. And you hate, for example, exercising. You hate that time. You just cannot get yourself to get up and run or exercise. And let's say on the opposite side, what you really love is following an episode, maybe on Netflix or some sort of series that you absolutely love, or a podcast or something of the sort that you really love and cannot wait to listen to. And so make a commitment with yourself to never, that you're not allowed to watch that episode unless you're running on that treadmill or that you're exercising. And that's the only time you're allowed to do that very same opposite thing that you really love. And here you will find yourself, instead of dreading the little tasks, note that it's small, now you're thinking, hey, let me go through this because now I get to have what I really love. If this is work, then maybe your favorite drink. You cannot have your favorite drink unless you finish that task, or you cannot go out and treat yourself unless you finish that task, or that hangout that you do every week. You cannot go until you finish that task. And we see here that with these two pieces of advice, before getting into these two pieces, we've established that you're doing something about small every day. And as you stay consistent, patient with it, it'll create something new, big for you. And so to enable to achieve that, one, you're advised to isolate yourself as you do these tiny tasks, and to associate with it something that you really love as you do this small little task. And that's what I see here as your complete advice of what small thing that you can do that will have a huge effect on your situation. This way you will love doing it, and you may not go through failed attempts as it was in the past. Pile number 3, because really it's all about consistency more than it is about taking big steps. Oh, and I forgot to tell you something. As you take little steps, I'm seeing here that later on you will love what you're doing and you'll start taking big steps by choice. Why am I saying that? Because you have Dhumavati, and Dhumavati is the Hindu widow goddess. And it is said that if you transpass her looks, you will... if you transpass her looks, you will find her true power. And that is turning a bad destiny into a good one. So this is pretty clear. As you take these little steps later on, as you transpass the fact that it may feel heavy on the heart, you will realize with these small steps that you're capable of making this happen. And you will realize that, hey, it's moving with the chariot here. It's working. It's taking me on a great path. And now I feel like putting in more effort towards it every day, because now you're motivated. You've created momentum, and it's making you put in even more by choice every single day. And you've learned consistency along the way as you do that. Pile number 3. One day, your small little project or your studies will turn into a grown chicken. One day, what you thought you could not have will blossom and will be a strong reality in your life. And that is what consistency does. That's what sticking to things does. And just like a plant, you water it every day, and it's inevitable that it blossoms and it grows into a little plant, and sometimes even into a big tree that gives you fruit every year. Pile number 3. You're doing something great. You can change your life. You can achieve that dream, or finish that project, or finish this homework, or finish that project at work. Whatever it looks like is so intimidating and it's taking so much energy from you. You can really liberate yourself, change your situation completely, and have the freedom that you want by simply taking tiny steps. So for example, if you have a big research to do, you don't need to be intimidated by all the pages of research and all the steps that you have to take to do it properly. You can simply start by mapping out your preliminary idea on what you want to research to be about, and call it a day. Next day, you can research the first point as much as you can. Call it a day. And so on. Do little tiny things, and before you know it, you'll start feeling, hey, this is actually coming together. And as you work on this research, you get great ideas, you find out amazing information, and as you're putting it together, you feel like you're forming something unique here, something brilliant, because as you're connecting the dots, you're able to present a marvelous research, and now you're super motivated and you know what to get things from. Now your professor is really amazed and they want to help you out with that research, and so they give you tips on where to research, and it's just going from one success to the other, and before you know it, you are amazed that you were the one who's created this marvelous paper or this research. Pile number 3. So this is exactly what I see in your reading. Small incremental steps, actually tiny steps every day, and associating it with something that you love. Forget about having it quickly. Have the patience to do tiny things. Pile number 3, simply starting is what most people can't do. Just the mere fact that you can start, you congratulate yourself. So the first day could be that you've actually sat down, opened that Word document, gave it a name, and wrote your first sentence or researched that first thing. 5-10 minutes, congratulate yourself for beginning. Give yourself a high five, a pat on the back. You've done something that most people can't do, and it's about doing tiny things. It's not about doing big things, and later on you can handle bigger if you so choose to. And that was your reading, my dear pile number 3. And by the way, if you're interested, I do sell a productivity book. It's small, straight to the point. You won't procrastinate or waste time reading it. But as I always say, it has all the key advice and secrets to becoming a productive person, all while enjoying the process. And so if you're interested in that book, you'll find a link to it down in the description box. And now there's also an audiobook. You could even listen to it if you want. And pile number 3, that was your reading. It was such a pleasure doing that for you. And I know that small difference will have a huge effect on your life. I'm rooting for you. And if you've enjoyed your reading, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. And by the way, if you enjoy Zodiac Tarot readings, please make sure to check my other channel out. You'll find it as the first link down in the description box. And pile number 3, such a pleasure. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye.